So Scott, what do you think about LA so far? First time here.
It's wild, man. There's a lot happening. Coming in on a Thursday, it wasn't quite as busy, but Friday night was nuts. There was a Lakers game not too far from our hotel, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of people. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that everyone looks like they're dressed up to go out to like a nightclub. Everyone here is very fancy. I don't know if there's just a bunch of clubs where we're at, or if everyone's trying to be like discovered, or if there's just a different culture here. But I was walking around in like a decent long sleeve shirt and jeans last night, and I felt pretty underdressed just out on the streets.
Yeah.
So that was my big takeaway. I was like, holy shit, everyone here is very fancy.
So, I mean, we're pretty close to the crypto arena, and I know that the first night that we got here, we were walking around, and I've been here before. It's probably been since like, I think like 2012 maybe. So it's been a long time, but I've actually never been to the arena. So what do you think about just like walking around and seeing all the stuff outside of it?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, there's history everywhere. There's all the statues, and obviously, like we saw, like, Kobe and Shaq, and there's a bunch of Kings players, and
Yeah.
and then I think the one that we both probably took the most away from was Kobe and his daughter with like the angel wings around them, that little statue, and you can just tell there's a lot of rich history and culture here. And I really wish we could have gone to a game. It just didn't really fit into the schedule and the timing of everything, but we got to watch it, at a bar. We watched the second half, and so we saw all the Lakers fans everywhere, and pretty cool, man. I think one of the things that was funny is all the hot dog vendors out on the street. You couldn't walk anywhere without people being like, hot dogs, hot dogs.
They were like, hot dogs. And I was like, no, I'm good. It's like, I'm not Joey Chestnut. I don't need a hot dog.
And then the jerseys were just everywhere.
Yeah.
All of the fences had just jerseys on them for sale, and interesting stuff, man. I don't know if I would buy a jersey from someone just off the street like that, but
I'm surprised you didn't buy a LeBron jersey.
I thought about it, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't know what I would be purchasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It would have been cool to watch the game. They obviously won last night. They played against the Nets, so they should have won, and they did. But yeah, it's just an interesting culture because I grew up in St. Louis, and I'm used to when sports are out, like everyone's out doing the sports stuff. But it felt like there were like more people out for like night clubbing and fancy stuff last night. So just that was, I think, the biggest shock for me. Right by the crypto arena, to see so many people out like clubbing and not as many people there for basketball.
It also just seems like this weekend that we're here, I mean, there's so much sports going on. There was like a Lakers game, a Dodgers game. What was it? Like
There's a Kings game the night before.
Hockey game.
There's probably a Kings game again tonight.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of the March Madness games they weren't here. I think they were maybe in a different part of California, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because that's why they're so late. Like some of them were like our time Eastern. It was like the game started at 9 something.
Yeah.
Like 9:45. It's like, well, it's like 6:45 here.
Yeah.
So it kind of made more sense as to why.
What's been your biggest kind of shock, or like what's taken you like maybe by surprise the most, just culturally, like with the city here?
I just think like when you walk around, just honestly the people. Like the people watching and just seeing,
it's
I don't know, very, very, very different like people, and I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of random homeless people, so that kind of makes it a little, I would say, odd when you're walking around. You're just like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like I always feel unsafe or anything, but you're just kind of like, this is just so different. Like you would never really find this in places that, I mean, maybe where St. Louis, where you're from, but in like Michigan and stuff, it's not as common to do that like downtown. Like, yeah, there's some here and there, but it just feels like there's so many, and it makes sense because there's way more people here.
Right. Yeah, and it's like you said, I think the thing that maybe is more unique is that it's very spread out.
Yeah.
You turn onto a street and you have no idea what you're going to see. It could be some weird people, some crazy people, some people on drugs. And we've seen all of the above. So, it's just it's a little bit of a culture shock, I think. And it's part of me wonders, like, there's always like the thing like, oh, I'm going to go to Los Angeles and I'm going to get discovered. And part of me wonders if that's why there's all this uniqueness. Like there's the creative people and there's the models or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just waiting for someone to pick up my music and take me onto a label.
Oh.
No. We tried that at the bar last night, actually.
That's true. You had a really in-depth combo with some random guy.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get too far here, just hello, welcome, Single Barrel Sports Podcast. We are live in person, which we don't get to do very often.
Yeah.
My name is Deeb.
What? You're Deeb?
My name is Scott.
Damn, all right.
This is Deeb.
You can see what's happening out here in LA. Scott forgot his name already.
That's a first.
Yeah. No, but welcome in. As mentioned, we always like to try to do one in person, usually around a conference that we usually both go to. So it's great to see you, Scott. And I know it's been a while since we've seen each other since the Bourbon Trail. So we've definitely had a lot of fun and got to catch up a lot.
Yeah, and it's been a good hang. We got in on Thursday. We're actually recording this Saturday morning, which is much earlier than we typically record our episodes, but we got a jam-packed day and evening, and then we're both flying home tomorrow and got some busy work weeks ahead. So we're going to get the content in, we're going to get the hang in, and then it's right back to work. So welcome. Thank you for hanging with us. Hopefully you liked kind of this format of us being in person here, and let's talk some sports, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're kind of in the weird, I would call it, spot with March Madness because we have games that just happened this week, and then we have ones this weekend, and so we're getting into close. By the time this, obviously, I think Final Four and all that will end up being decided. But I actually had an interesting question that I wanted to ask you, Scott, and it's more kind of on. I know that like maybe you're more into the betting side of things. Like I usually don't really place bets. You've probably heard me, on college football, like I'll troll and put a bet on like the team that's playing Oregon so that Oregon will win because of my superstition.
Yep.
But if you had, let's just say like we're walking around outside here and someone was like, hey, like here's $1,000. You can take this $1,000 and the only thing that I require is that you place bets on March Madness. What are you doing? Are you taking the $1,000 and putting it on a single team? Are you spreading it out, amongst the different games that are left? Like, what would be your strategy with that?
That's a really good question. And I think this is like the age-old question for gambling in general, right? Like, if I were at a casino, the odds are always against you there, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, the best bet is to just go all in on one thing, because if you win it all. But if you keep spreading it out, where the odds are against you, you're eventually going to lose it all. Sports, I think, are different because you have the odds, and sometimes you get paid more than you bet, depending on like the odds of them winning or not.
Sure.
I think winning March Madness, that most of the teams have a plus on their odds. You would make more money if they won because it's such a big tournament and there's so much to it.
Yeah.
So I probably would pick anywhere between like maybe 4 and 6 teams and spread it out. You still want to make a good chunk of money if your team wins. But you're going to make a good chunk of money even if you bet on like 6 teams. If you split up $1,000 evenly,
you're
going to make way more than $1,000 back, most likely, depending on who wins. I mean, if the odds are like plus 120 or something, and you only bet, like $200, you're not going to make $1,000. But if the odds are like plus 400 or plus 600 or whatever, then I mean, I think the math makes sense to spread it out to make that money back. But it's an intriguing question because obviously, like, let's say you go like all in on, I don't know, Iowa, like, for example, they're like an 8 seed. Their odds would have been insane, right? And if you put $1,000 on them, you would probably be walking away with like 15 or 20 grand. If I had to guess just off the top of my head, like they're probably that much of an underdog.
Yeah.
But are they likely to win? I mean, they're in the Elite 8. But how long does it go? And this is what we talked about last week. Like eventually the favorites end up like knocking out. The underdogs don't just keep winning.
Right.
Sometimes they do, but it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah, or it's like there's not that many of them.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to make it super far, statistically speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, just if we're talking about who wins the tournament, this doesn't really apply, but in sports gambling in general, if you spread it out a little bit, then even if only like half of them hit, but some of them were underdog picks, then you're still going to be a little net positive. So I tend to rely on, when I don't bet a lot, but when I do, it's usually small bets.
Sure.
And I don't bet as much as I used to. We'll say that.
They all say.
But I typically will spread it out and do small bets because I'm like, first of all, I don't want to lose a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And I don't really care if I win a bunch. I mean, I would love to win a bunch of money, but it's not usually the goal. It's like, hey, let's just add some excitement to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my strategy. But I don't think there's really a right or wrong way to gamble.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably just keep it simple. If I was going to bet, I would wait till the national championship because then it's like only 2 teams. Yeah. And I would probably just pick one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you could take 1,000 and spread it out, but then I feel like your odds are going to go down.
Yeah. Right? And the closer you get to the championship, the odds are going to be tighter because there's fewer teams left. So it makes it harder to spread it the later it gets.
Yeah. I just keep it simple. I don't know. I'm not like I wouldn't enjoy doing like, hey, let me put a couple bets. But for me, it's just like, if I'm actually going to have to bet that much, I probably would just try to, do it in one scoop so then I don't have to like continue to
the age-old question, right? Like, do I put $10 on 10 different numbers on roulette?
Yeah.
Or do I put $100 on black? You know, like
black. That's what I would do.
I mean,
So
that would cover
sense.
18 numbers, right? You just don't win as much money if they hit. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is like when you, I don't know, when you bet, like I know just from a numbers perspective, it's tough because if you have 1,000, if you have $10, no matter what the amount is, you're just trying to kind of figure out how do I put this somewhere where it like has the best chance at the end of the day.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's gambling, right?
But I mean,
there's never going to be a right answer, and the odds are likely going to come against you at some point, even if you have a good favorable bet one time. So that's why I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. But it's an interesting question because gambling is really taking over the sports world, and it's. I mean, they talk about betting odds on like ESPN now, and it's anywhere you look, there's betting odds, and there's DraftKings ads on everything, and FanDom ads. So it's definitely becoming very integrated into sports.
Yeah,
which makes sense, I guess, because I'm sure there's a ton of money in that. But
so there's another. I'll make a statement.
Okay,
let's put it that way because it relates back to sports betting, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm going to read it because I feel like it's a really good question. It convinced me that the growth of sports betting and games being rigged based on betting is not a real thing.
I can't. I mean, there's literal proof of it, right? Yeah. Like we've had guys that have literally said that they like pull themselves out of the games in like the third quarter, or that they like miss shots on purpose. And obviously that's the minority. I truly believe that's the minority, but we have actual evidence that it has happened. I mean, if you remember, like a bunch of people just got arrested. Like,
Chauncey?
Yeah. Like,
and all those guys?
It was like less than a year ago.
Wasn't he like the coach though?
Yeah, but there were players too.
Oh, yeah.
There was at least one player that was involved in that like admitted that he would like pull himself out of the game and pretend to be hurt.
Yeah, they're like former players and stuff too. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, I don't think you can definitively act like that doesn't happen because we've had proof that it does. But I will say though, I think that it is the minority. And I think the only reason that people feel like all games are fixed now is because there's so much more attention and like there's a microscope over the betting odds.
Oh yeah. That
like if it just happens, someone scores at the end and they change it from like -8, or let's say they're -8, then they score and then now they're 7 in front, right? So my bet loses. Everyone's instinct is like, well, I just lost money, so this was rigged. When in reality, like that has probably been happening all along, and just there's not as many people that were acutely aware of the betting odds and betting in general. So
yeah,
I don't think the integrity of all sports is tarnished, but I do think there's some integrity that's been tarnished, and we've got some actual evidence of that. So I can't tell you that games aren't fixed because we have proof that some of them actually are.
Yeah, well, and it's like a weird concept too because in some of these stories that you hear, it's like, the person didn't place the bet, but they like had some friends, like mom's uncle or something that they like, they tried to weave it in there where it was like, I'll tell you, I'll give you the information and then have someone place the bet.
Right.
And that person can take a cut. And I'm like, I mean, that makes sense. Like, obviously, if you were going to do that, how else would you do it? You'd have to try to like get it through somebody different so you don't just directly get caught.
Right.
So
yeah, I think then it's really scummy, and then it becomes challenging to investigate that when there's multiple layers of degrees of separation involved. But I mean, that's how the one player that came out and talked about it said. I mean, I don't remember the specifics, but like if someone bet like $250K on let's say it was like his over for points or something, or his under for points, and then he pulled himself out in the third quarter because he knew they would give him like $100K of the winnings, right? So like. He's like, well, yeah, I can just play half the game, pretend like I'm hurt, and I get $100,000 on top of my salary, And it was someone else making the bet, but giving him the kickback. And yeah, I think there's a lot of issues with that. Obviously, there's a whole lot of flaws, and man, I don't know, because so many things in this world, not to go down like a rabbit hole here, but so many things in this world are starting to feel like they're more scripted than it seems like.
Yeah,
and that there's always someone pulling the strings somewhere. And so
the puppet master.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how deep this really goes, or if there have just been a few isolated events. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe we're just in The Sims.
We're in the Truman Show.
Wow.
I'm just gonna walk a few blocks that way and see if I run into a wall.
Wow. You'll just be like, we just walk around and see NPCs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we have been
kind of from time to time. It seems that way.
Yeah,
at least where we're at.
I do think that overthinking it is like sad though, right? Like, cause the more you think about it and the more of these examples that pop up, it's like, man, like this is something that I love so much. I don't want to believe that it's like that the integrity of it is tarnished. But man, that gambling is just in your face everywhere now. And I know some people love it. Some people are a little bit indifferent, and some people are just like, dude, I can't even watch sports now. Like, it's just everything is talking about betting.
Yeah. Well, and it's like they always put it in your face. There's always, like you said, an ad, or like you get stuff in the mail, or it's like on your social media. And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. Like, it's a business model, but like, just chill.
Right.
You know, like, relax. Like, we don't need to be like every single thing has to be a bet.
Right.
I mean, like, it's okay to not have a bet on everything. I mean, maybe not from them. They want you to bet on everything, obviously.
Yeah.
But
you know what you could do instead is follow Single Barrel Sports on our social media.
Yeah.
And just tell us who you think will win. And that will be our version of betting without actually using any financial transactions.
Yeah, you can place a bet on us for free.
And if your team wins, you got the bragging rights on our social media. And we might even call you out in the next episode.
That's fair. No, I mean, I agree with that. All right, let me ask you this. I'm going to change it up on you, because we were talking about a little bit about March Madness and then betting. But if you had, like, let's just say you had a crystal ball. Let's just say we zoomed out and it is a simulation. Okay. And you were then the person pulling the strings.
I'm the puppet master. Yep.
If you had the chance to delete one sport, what would it be?
Delete a sport.
If it was like, no more of this.
I'm going to catch some heat. No matter what I say, I'm going to catch some heat.
I mean,
are we talking like major sports or just any sport in existence?
Major sports, yeah. Because any sport, you could just pick like cricket or something.
Right.
You know?
And when we say major sports, are we talking about like the big market sports or like...
Yeah, like, I mean, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, golf. Like, we're talking like, you know, they have like professional. That's pretty well known.
I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this then.
I mean,
we kind of talked about this last week, and I think it comes down to like what has the highest stakes, what has the most enjoyment on a day-to-day basis. And I think that the more games you play, then the less exciting your sport is. And so for me, that would be baseball. And I don't even dislike baseball, but I never have an urge to watch it because it's always going to be on. You know what I mean? And I said this last week, but if my team loses today, I don't really care. There's 161 more games in the season.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot different than watching like an NFL season where they play, you know, like 16, 17 games and like, depending on, I mean, I know some of that has changed with the schedule changes, but like each loss feels like it matters more. In college football, each loss really matters a lot.
Yeah.
In baseball, you could lose like, I don't know, 80 games and still make the playoffs potentially. So I'll catch some shit for that. It's America's favorite pastime. People like to go to the ballpark. They sing the songs in the 7th inning stretch, and you get your Frank hot dog and couple of beers, and it's just more of a social gathering.
Yeah.
But when it comes to watching it on TV, I think that it's the hardest for me to really get into because of just how numerous there are, how many games there are.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot. I probably would say the same, but I guess if I have to pick something different, that's obviously it's gonna make it a little more challenging because that would be definitely my number one. Let me think. I mean, for a lot of the major ones out there, like I'm definitely not canceling like football, basketball, or golf.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there? I'm trying to think. Baseball, hockey, soccer.
Tennis has a big following. Soccer.
Yeah. I mean, I just am going to say probably tennis just because I don't know a lot about it. I don't think it's a bad sport, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like,
I feel like tennis is kind of comparable to golf with like the cadence and the number of events and kind of like the number of players.
Yeah.
But like if you're not into it, then like I didn't watch golf for a long time. Yeah. For a long time, I couldn't have cared less if it existed or not. But
well, here I have one. You could delete tennis and then just all the people can play pickleball.
Pickleball's okay. Pickleball's gaining a lot of popularity. Give me the monologue. All right, here comes the Scott monologue for the episode. Pickleball is picking up a ton of popularity. It's a very fun game to play recreationally. This is where I might catch some heat, but I don't think it requires as much athleticism, as much skill as tennis does. And it's a smaller court. You don't have to be as quick or agile or run. I mean, you still have to be those things, but not quite as much, in my opinion. And I don't know if there's quite as much technicality to it. So I think if we're talking about getting rid of one or the other, like let's keep the one with the higher skill cap. This other one is just like we can go play anyone can go out and play pickleball on a Saturday, right? Like you don't have to really. Not everyone can hit a tennis ball over the net without hitting it over the fence. Like that's a legitimate thing. Like some people just, if it goes over the net, it's going over the fence also because they don't have like the swing to control it. But anyone can really go out and play like at least a shitty version of pickleball. So I mean, that's my monologue.
It's fair, but I mean, I don't know. It's similar, is what I meant.
Yeah,
more than anything.
And I would say it's more inclusive, which is why I call it more of a recreational. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some like really intense pickleball tournaments, and it can get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I just think from the ground up, like at the lowest level, it's much more simple and easy than tennis is at the lowest level.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a smaller version of tennis. Yeah. When I say smaller, I just mean like the court.
Like physically smaller, yeah.
The paddles, the space that you have to hit.
Yep.
The net. I mean, literally, it's just like a mini tennis.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, some of the how you play is a little bit different. I don't know, though. I mean, that one's hard. I definitely, my number one would probably also be baseball. Again, I don't like have something against baseball, but it's more like if I had to pick out of all of them, that's probably the one I'm picking. I mean, maybe basketball, but like, I don't know. I feel like basketball is just more, it's faster. It's more exciting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Baseball, like, yeah, it can be exciting, but yeah, it's lengthy. It's like, come on, like cut the season in half. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the games are long. There's a ton of pauses, and the season is long. And I think they've taken some steps lately to try and make the games go a little quicker and not have as much lag time. So
the pitch clock's nice.
Yeah,
I have to say.
I think they're making good changes for the sport, and I again have no beef with the sport. But if you ask me if I had to get rid of one and keep the rest, that would just be my one.
No beef, just veggie.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. So, okay, so that's what we would delete, generally speaking. The other one I'm curious about is, this one's really interesting. I've actually seen people talk about this, and I feel like this comes up more when, like, I can give you a good example. So, when D2 teams are really, really good, especially like football, people always make these comparisons of like, could they be in D1 and would they, what conference would they be in and all that kind of stuff. But if you took, and like, I feel like this was more relevant when Alabama was really, really good a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
So the general question, I'm framing it around football, but really like, feel free to apply it to anything. Do you think that like the best of the best college team could compete against the worst of the worst pro team in anything?
No.
Like, you don't think there's any shot?
I don't. No. I remember when these debates came out originally, right? It was always, could this year's Alabama team take on this year's Browns team? Because the Browns were like really, really bad that year. And I think it's a very simple argument that, to me, just mathematically makes sense. And then philosophically, then it kind of follows along. But if you think about college football, even on the best football team, the best Alabama team that we've seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Only like a fraction of them actually get drafted to the pros, right?
Yeah.
And then the other 3/4 of them or whatever weren't good enough to make it to the pros, right? Everyone on the worst NFL football team was like at the top of their position in college, or they wouldn't be playing pro football. Ish. They're close to the top. But like, if you're a starter on the worst NFL team, then you were way better than a guy that didn't get drafted at all in college. For the most part, generally speaking.
Yeah, okay.
And so you've got a full squad of people that were better at their position than 75% of the people on this Alabama team, for example.
Yeah.
And so even though at the pro level they're not competing as well against other pro teams, they're still a pro team playing against a team that is only going to be partially pro eventually. Yeah. And they also have more experience. They've got better training programs typically. And so I think that it's actually an ass whooping only because everyone on that bad team was still going to be like, they would be like at the top of this other team if they played there.
It's fair. I see what you're saying. Like if you look at the skill level, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, and maybe this is not as much of a factor, but I think one of the things that differentiates the most is the size and the speed.
Yeah.
So like people in the NFL are that much bigger than people in college, and people in college are still pretty big. And then the speed, like they're that much faster in the NFL.
Yeah, and even the big guys are that much faster, right? Like, you see these college quarterbacks that make a living of like just running back and around these like slow defensive linemen.
Yeah,
and that doesn't work in the pros. In the pros, they have the best pursuit angles, and they're a lot faster than these college linemen are. So I think NFL, it definitely doesn't translate in my mind. You could maybe persuade me that some other sports it could.
Like I still don't like what would there be a chance in any of the other sports?
It's hard. I think in team sports it's hard to say yes because the more players on a team, the less likely I think it is that a college team could ever stack up to a pro team. Okay. Because again, everyone on that pro team would be like elite at the college level.
Okay.
But if you had like an individual sport, like maybe like if we talk golf, for example, like you got a guy that's like in an SEC golf school, and then he goes to a pro, like a PGA event.
Yeah, which happens.
He could hang, and we've seen it happen before.
Yeah, like the amateurs
or like I think like wrestling is a good example of that. Like a lot of these national champion college wrestlers like are like already at the best. They're at the best in the world because it's not a team sport. You know what I mean? So, but I think the more players on a team, the less likely it is to happen.
That's fair.
Now, one thing I will say is, there might be some legs underneath the could a D2 team beat a D1 team argument.
Yeah, that's more fair.
Because that's more of like, well, this player chose to go here.
Right.
That doesn't have anything to do with if they're a professional player or not. That's just where they chose to go to school.
Yeah, for sure. I think, the skill levels are much closer.
Yeah.
They're all in college. Yes, obviously D1 schools generally have better players, but there's less of a gap between the two. But I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think statistically that the pro team, especially in football, wins a majority of the time. Yeah. Do I think there could ever be a scenario where there's like an upset? Absolutely. I do. Yeah. I actually think that if you took like a prime Alabama team versus like a horrible, like just like name
16 Detroit Lions.
Yeah, name like one of the worst NFL teams or the worst seasons an NFL team has ever had, and I do think there is a shot. I think it's a long shot. I don't think it's like, automatically they're going to beat their ass.
Right.
I just think that it would happen most of the time where the NFL team would win.
Yeah.
But there would be, if you simmed it like a bunch of times, there would be like probably one of those where it's like, oh my God, they actually won.
Yeah. I mean, miracles happen all the time, right? Yeah. I would never say never.
Yeah.
But I would have to see it to believe it.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, some of those NFL teams, like, to your point, they're better, but like they're not good. Like they weren't good for the NFL, but the best college team, they might even just have the motivation to win.
Yeah,
because they're just like playing so well.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I just can't imagine it, but I certainly would never rule it out.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I think most of the time, yes, the pro team wins.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, because this is another one kind of in the same realm of this, but do you think there are any, like, the example that I always think of is like pro WNBA. So take like a pro WNBA team and put them against like I'm trying to even give you a compare, like a high school, a really good, a state champion high school, or like a D2 college men's team. Do you think that there's so much of a difference in size and physicality that like, they actually would have a chance? Or do you think it's like crazy to think that they would win?
This could be controversial, but I do think that the men's would still have a chance to win. And I think that because of things you mentioned, size, speed, the flow of the game itself looks different when you watch men's basketball versus women's basketball. It is still the same sport, but stylistically it looks different.
Yeah.
And I think most of that is because of size, speed. Granted, there are some very tall people in the WNBA and fast people, but I just think the game itself is different. We're not seeing, you still see 3-pointers, right? But we're not seeing quite as many. You don't really see people getting posterized with huge dunks and boards, and so I could see a world where, especially a D2 men's basketball team, like if they were a good team, could potentially win against a pro women's team. But again, I mean, I don't know. The pro women's team is going to have probably much better ball movement and strategy and technicality, and so there's ways that I could see it going either direction.
Yeah.
But I think that's more of an apples to oranges comparison than like.
Yeah, that's fair. That's just one I always see. So I was kind of.
And again, and it could be deemed controversial to say that that's apples to oranges, but I just think if you watch both, if you watch men's basketball and women's basketball, they don't look exactly the same.
Right. It's different.
So
speeds,
it's kind of a different,
different size. I mean, it's the same game, but just with different types of player.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I don't think a high school team wins, but I think like a college team for sure.
Yeah.
I think that.
I agree. I don't think I would put my money on a high school team.
Because I actually think like even a really good high school team, they're just not skilled enough. Like, yes, they'd be more physical, but I don't think the skill set would be enough to get them there. Because to your point, I do think like the women would probably they just pick them apart with like shooting and steals and all that.
Well, yeah, stuff. Fundamentals, technique.
Yeah, but like a college men's team, even if it's like a D2, like I mean, that's where you start to get okay. Now you have all these people that are usually very physical.
Half the team is like 6'8", and I mean, like I said, it could go either way. I wouldn't be shocked either way, but I do think they would have a chance to win that game, even though if they're in college.
Yeah. So we're in LA, obviously, and there's a lot of sports here. I mean, last night when we were just walking around, you see people like we were talking about games are going on. There's fans everywhere.
Yeah, there's a soccer game here last night too.
Yeah, there was a soccer game. So if you had to pick one LA team to be a fan of, which one would you pick out of all?
Are you talking about like starting right now, moving forward?
Yeah, any of them. Any of the ones that are here.
Okay. I have an answer, but I'm going to give you two that I think are justified.
Okay.
The one that I would not say, I'll start with that first. I think the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I already said I would get rid of baseball. So the Dodgers are like by far like the most exciting team in baseball right now. They have a massive amount of salary that they've put into these superstar teams. It's like they've assembled the Avengers here on their baseball team. It's almost It's honestly just not fair, for other teams, in my opinion, because it's a big money market and the baseball has weird rules with like salary caps and guaranteed sign-on bonuses, all that stuff.
Yep.
And so it's almost like they're playing in the game where they've got a head start. However, they are so good that it would be really fun to be a fan of a team that is basically like a dynasty right now and it just keeps winning.
For sure.
My actual answer would be the Lakers. And it's not even just because of LeBron, which anyone who's listened to this knows that I'm a LeBron guy, for better or for worse. That's my guy. And it'd be fun to be a part of that, although I don't know if he'll even be here next year. But more so, there's so much history and there's so much superstardom that has come out of the Lakers organization.
Yeah.
And it is a staple, no pun intended.
Wow.
But it's a staple to the city of LA. And I feel like everyone here just latches onto them and like appreciates that they're here.
Yeah.
And last night was just like a bit of a taste of it. Just we did see like 1 million jerseys out on the streets and just the street vendors and everything. I was like, dude, this is cool. It's like its own little culture here. They've got Los Angeles Live right there with a bunch of bars and so I would probably say the Lakers, even though football is probably like my primary sport. I would never say the Rams because screw them. And so give me the Lakers.
I actually used to be a Lakers fan back in the day.
Yeah.
When they had Kobe and Shaq and like all that. Like I actually number one, they were just super fun to watch. But like back in the day, that was like a team that I really actually liked to watch. Because I think just because they were so good and it was just crazy to watch them play. But I don't know. I mean, I think Dodgers are cool. I mean, yeah, they have, like you said, really good players. Ohtani, all these guys. I mean, they're usually always in the run.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge baseball person, so probably not that, but I could get into the Rams a bit. I mean, is there anything super appealing about them? To me, not exactly. I mean, they're more exciting. I feel like the coach is a younger guy. He likes to run like a high power offense, so maybe along the lines more of like my style of what I like in football.
Yeah.
But I like the colors. I mean, I think they have sweet jerseys and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the color scheme and all that. And I mean, the Chargers used to be, I know that they weren't LA, they were San Diego, but I mean, Chargers maybe. That's maybe more like.
I'd be quicker on that train. And
yeah.
I mean, you know this, but anyone listening probably doesn't. But I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. And so when the Rams left, the way that they left St. Louis to go to LA is just, in my mind, unforgivable. I think Stan Kroenke is an asshole, and so
is that the owner?
Yeah, and he also owns like the soccer team here, and he owns I think Chelsea. Like he owns a bunch of like soccer programs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could never get on board with that again because of the way that they did the city of St. Louis dirty. But they are a likable team if you don't have that history and that beef that I have kind of from my background.
Sure.
So yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I feel like one of the football teams, maybe more like the Chargers. I know the Chargers are just makes more sense, but I mean, yeah, I like the Lakers too. I mean, I'm trying to think what other. I mean, so we have soccer, baseball, football, basketball, Clippers.
There's the Clippers.
There's
the Angels.
Clippers,
there's a couple of
the
Kings. If you are a hockey fan.
Yeah, I mean. So wait, they have 2 baseball teams. I guess I just realized that.
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm not like super into hockey that much, so maybe, but
yeah,
I feel like was their team not good?
They've just been kind of a roller coaster team over the last couple of decades. Like they've had some crazy seasons.
Yeah.
Do you know the name Jonathan Quick? He's like a goaltender. No. Well, there was a stretch there where he was just like the best player, like the best goalie in hockey, and they had some really good hockey seasons with him. Yeah, I mean they've had some big names come through, and yeah, I just feel like some years are good and some aren't with them.
Is he quick?
I suppose.
I mean, if you have a name like that, you feel like
you kind of have to be, right?
Yeah, like growing up, you're like, yeah, he's got to be quick.
Yeah,
you know, like.
But yeah, I think it would be cool to be in like one of these cities with all the history and culture, to be a Lakers fan because you're part of the city. I think would be really cool.
Yeah,
I feel like it's really easy though if you're not from here to be like, oh, I want to be a Patriots fan. Oh, I want to be a Red Sox fan. I want to be a Dodgers fan, a Yankees fan, because there's just these really good teams that are always good.
Yeah,
and it's almost like a cop out. So like I don't think I would ever say like, oh, I'm a huge Lakers fan without living here, because it almost feels like you're just latching onto something that's always good or historically has always been good. I know lately they've been hit or miss.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, we've been to a couple places when we went and got dinner or just like after our stuff's over. We've kind of tried to go and watch some of the games and all that, and I will say, and you let me know what your thoughts are, but just from the vibes perspective, I mean, it definitely seems like there's a lot of fans. I mean, all the places, and maybe it's just the places we went to naturally because they were like sports.
That's fair.
Ish, but I mean, there's like people everywhere wearing jerseys, cheering for the team. I mean, it's definitely like part of the, I think, culture of the city. You can tell that like sports has a big fandom and people are very into it, at least where we're at. I don't know about outside of like the downtown area.
Yeah, and I think it's just good proof of why we like sports in general, right? Like it's just a thing that we can have in common that brings people together, and it's cool to see people get excited about that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I have one more question, and then we can do some picks for PGA for this coming week, since we have the Valero. But
I haven't even looked at that, so
yeah,
we'll have to walk through that slowly.
Yeah, I mean, we can pull up the roster since I know the one that's right now in Houston still going. But so, obviously we're walking around at night. Last night, as we talked about, there's a Lakers game, all sorts of stuff, fans, blah, blah, and we went out for a drink at one of the random tap house places or whatever later on. And so this is, I don't know why I thought of this question, but what sport do you think would be the most entertaining or funniest to watch if people had to play it drunk? Like that was like a requirement.
Okay. I'm gonna nix golf because we do that anyway.
Yeah, like
the pros don't, but like most casuals do. I'm gonna nix baseball because I feel like if everyone was drunk, you wouldn't even be able to throw like pitches and hit the ball, so it'd be kind of boring. Although still kind of funny, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nix football because I think that would just be outright dangerous. Some people have played under the influence before.
Yeah.
So I think the funny one for me might be basketball, just because you can still play it, you can still make some shots. You're probably gonna miss a lot more shots than usual, but I think it would just be funny in a game that's so technical, especially watching teams try to play defense and like if they're teams setting up screens and stuff. If they can't really if they're not sure-footed and they're like stumbling around, I could just see it being so funny, and I could see people like missing dunks or layups.
Yeah.
So 100%. It would probably go with that because I think it would maximize the funny without like ruining the game or causing serious potential for harm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
So Yeah, I mean, some of the team sports probably would be pretty funny. I actually think the one that would be the most entertaining would be like UFC. Because I
It's like a
feel
bar
like,
fight.
yeah, you would just then be watching like literally a bar fight, but like professional.
I like your answer better now.
And
Yeah,
like
that's
those
good.
guys are already, generally speaking, kind of out of their mind and
Hmm.
crazy. So just to see them be, a little turned up and then fight each other, be
Yeah.
like, wow, this could get really bad.
Yeah, I concede this one. I think your answer is good. I would go with your answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's other sports that would be funny, but that one would be really entertaining to
Yep.
just see what would happen. Like, especially just with the personalities of some of those people.
Yeah.
Like that by far, I think would be what would set it over the edge of like, huh, okay,
Yeah.
we're just gonna get into a bar fight on TV here.
MMA does some crazy stuff. I wouldn't rule it out. That maybe could happen eventually.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't know if a fight commission.
I
would
mean, they
sanction
did
that.
slap, whatever that
Oh
slap
yeah,
thing.
the power slap or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy.
Ooh, okay. So the one thing we didn't talk about, we'll do some golf picks, but let's talk about what happened to Tiger Woods
Wow.
because I know that
What a
was
shock, yeah.
yeah, that was really crazy yesterday.
So I can start. I'll tell the story about how we found out the news, right? Like, Dave and I were in the hotel. We were getting ready. We're getting suited up, about to go to this pharmacy conference, and got this message from a notification from ESPN on my phone. Tiger Woods involved in a rollover crash.
Yeah.
And so immediately, and that was it. There was no details about like if he was okay, if there was any injuries, if other people were involved. So immediately, like we spring into action, like, oh shit, like is Tiger okay? Like he just started playing golf again in the TGL this week. I hope he's okay. I hope nobody else was involved. And then you asked the question. You were like, was he hammered? Which I think is a fair question, right? Because of his past.
Yeah.
And so I'll hand it to you. Share kind of what happened, but I just wanted to provide some context of how we found the news.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot out there. I mean, we were kind of, trying to find some info, and so we were like searching X and all that stuff to be like, okay, like, is there anything credible? But
Yeah.
I mean, basically, from what we could see, what was reported eventually was it sounded like he didn't blow, like he wasn't under the influence of alcohol.
Not alcohol. Yeah.
But it definitely sounds like there was potentially something, at least from what
Yeah.
we're hearing, that like
Yeah.
he was. I mean, he was arrested and taken into custody and all that. But
Yeah, I mean, the details of it were that he blew 0.00,
yeah,
but then they wanted a urine test and he refused to do that. So that was like an automatic arrest at that point.
yeah,
The good thing, if there is a silver lining here, is it was only him involved in the accident and he's fine. Nobody was injured.
yeah,
Which obviously could always be worse, right? If a car rolls over, you never know if it's going to hit another car or if he's
Yeah.
going to like land on his head or whatever. But sounds like no injuries. Everything is fine from a safety perspective. The mugshot was a little bit interesting.
it wasn't as crazy as the first one.
He didn't look fried, but his eyes were super red.
Yeah,
And I was just like, what in the world? And so it gets you thinking, though. I mean, we've talked about this, but this guy's body has been through a lot. Like, he's had tons of surgeries.
So
He's had tons of injuries. And it makes you wonder, like, was it like pain medications or was this like some kind of like illicit drug and I don't think any details has come out about
no,
what maybe he may have been under the influence of.
yeah,
But yeah, just a crazy story, especially just a few days. It was what, like 4 or 5 days after he played at the TGL.
yeah,
We were over here like, oh, dude, he's going to be back for the Masters. And now it's like, who knows what's going to happen.
yeah. I mean,
But what are your thoughts on a guy with his history, Deeb? Of him, should he just have a permanent driver? I know that's a thing people keep asking. Like,
yeah,
and obviously that takes away autonomy and the way you live your life, right? If you need someone to drive for you. But
sure.
this can't happen right now for him. This is like the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah,
Right as he's on the cusp of a return.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think what happened in 2019 when he like made the comeback and won the Masters
Mm-hmm.
obviously was crazy. It was
Right.
a super crazy like thing that actually even happened
Mhm.
because of like all the stuff he went through. And I mean, it's like that's really like the craziest rags to riches. Like went from
Yeah.
being quite literally like the greatest golfer to completely just out of the game. All
Mhm.
the weird stuff that happened personally, etc., injuries. Then comes back and randomly wins it. I just think like the way that I look at it, I don't really ever expect him to come back. Like I'm not
Yeah,
like waiting for him. Like don't get me wrong, of course that'd be super cool, but I think we already had that moment.
that's fair.
In
Yeah,
2019, that was the moment. And I feel like people are waiting for another moment and I'm
yeah.
like I think that was it.
Even if he did come back, I just can't imagine him winning a major event
No.
ever again. There's
I
just too
mean,
many people at the top of the game right now.
when he's like he's you know what I mean? He's been injured. Like he just
Yeah,
every time he makes any sort of progress, he just gets hurt or something
right.
weird. Like I mean, this is a good example where like something weird's happening and it's like sets him back again. I'm like, I mean, he's only getting older, so I
Right.
don't. He's
Well, he's even
generally
said that it's harder to heal at this age,
yeah,
right?
hundred
Like he's
percent,
not in his 20s anymore.
yeah,
And
100%. So
I
no,
think,
I mean, I just think in general, like yeah, you asked should he have a driver? I mean, possibly, but it's just like he probably needs to be, where's the self awareness that like if you are taking medication or whatever,
right.
if it is for pain or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
We're
there's
not
no
100%
indication.
sure.
So that was just a question. Yeah.
But if he is because of like injury or something like that, and that's part of it, like yeah, absolutely. Even if it's just temporary,
Yeah.
or I don't know, maybe he like quite literally has an addiction problem. I could see that. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Literally, the guy was the greatest golfer of all time.
Right.
And imagine the dopamine and serotonin and all the highs that come with that
Yeah.
to then go to the
And all the lows
literal
that he's had.
valley
Yeah.
of death.
I mean, yeah.
Almost.
Almost.
So that's probably got to be a really hard mental thing, like especially with his mental, all of his stuff was like mental.
It was mental. It was very public.
Yeah.
He went. You could say what you want about the guy for all the stuff he did,
Yeah.
but everything that happened was very, very public, and you could imagine the toll that would take on the
Oh,
mental.
100%.
I think that makes his comeback in 2019 even crazier that
Yeah.
he kind of overcame all of that.
Yep.
I think for me, the thing, it was kind of like it tickled my fancy. It's not a thing I usually say. It tickled my fancy to see him play at the TGL, and then it became more real for me, where I was like, oh, like we're actually going to see Tiger play golf this year, even if it's not at the Masters. Like he'll probably play.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now who knows, right? Like he got arrested, but he apparently had no injury.
Yeah.
So he could still maybe play, but what's the PGA going to do as a result of this? What kind of repercussions is he going to face because of this?
Yeah.
So who knows? It's a weird thing. Maybe we'll get like we'll get like the Scotty Scheffler mugshot before the Masters, and he'll still come out and play.
And he just wins. That would actually be the craziest storyline if he just comes out and he's just like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna win now. But I give it less than a 5% chance.
Yeah, I don't expect to see it at this point. We're too close to the event.
Yeah. So you want to do some picks?
I do want to do the picks, but I'm gonna be kind of glancing at this resource here because I don't even know who's playing in the
Yeah,
next.
no, I'll share this. So we're gonna do top 5 miss the cut, first round leader, outright winner. So I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna kind of talk through this one a bit. So Valero, it's the one right before the Masters. You'll see, as you kind of take a look at the roster, it actually, I mean, you'll see names that that are going to be playing.
Except for this bum, he might not be playing.
Oh, Pearson Cootie. He's also from Texas, so screw him for withdrawing this week. But you'll see, like, it's not going to be a sparse field by any means. You'll definitely see some of the more well-known guys play. A lot of it, I think, is just because, quite literally, it's before the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I've when I did some research on it, this course is actually, like, not that great of a Masters prep course. The one that they're playing right now in Houston is an actual, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's not like comparable to Augusta, but it would be like a prep course.
Okay.
Just based on how it's like laid out. So it is kind of a weird one where, the Valero Opens, like people play it. A lot of people play it just because it's like a warm up for the Masters, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not one of the better tracks or,
Sure.
You're not going to get anything too crazy. When it comes to the actual course itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do top 5, miscut, first round leader, and outright winner.
Okay.
What do you want to start with?
We can do the top 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go first. I'm still scrolling, but I'm almost through.
Yep. I'm going to, for top 5 finish, I like one of the guys that I like here that has been I would call it semi-average this year. Like he played really well last year. Is Substraka.
Okay.
I think that he has a chance to get back into that kind of top 10, top 5 look here, especially just looking at like who's in the field.
Yeah, I like that pick.
And his style of play. So give me him for a potential top 5 finish.
My top 5 is also going to be a guy that I think needs to get back his game elevated again. And that's maybe JJ Spawn. I feel like he hasn't really done much this year. And he obviously had a really good year last year. So I expect to see him kind of elevate a bit. I don't know if he'll win, but I could see him making top 5 in this event.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, he's kind of. I mean, after he won the major, he kind of. I don't want to say like completely dropped off, but it was kind of just. I don't know. I don't think he like continued to play up to what he could. For missed the cut. Wow, that's funny. They have Morikawa on here. I don't think he's gonna play though.
No, you don't think so?
I don't know. I thought he was still hurt, but we'll have to look that up. For missed the cut, take a look here. Give me your boy Tom Kim. Even though he's a Texas boy, apparently.
That's a safe bet that he'll miss the cut. I'm gonna go with one that may be controversial here, but I'm gonna say Henley is gonna miss the cut.
Okay. Yeah, I mean he's kind of generally pretty consistent, but then randomly he'll just not be good.
Yeah.
From time to time, it's like all right. The other one we had, I think, was first round leader, which I'm going to pick. I think this guy should be playing. I thought I just saw him on here. Give me Marco Penge.
Okay.
From England.
He's done well in early rounds this year, I feel like.
Kind of a surprising random. I think he might have came over from the DP World Tour.
Okay.
So you don't see him that often.
My first round leader is going to be Oberg if he plays.
Okay. That's fair. What about outright winner?
My outright winner is going to be Robert McIntyre.
Okay. I like that one. Oh, I'm trying to think. Outright winner. I don't know, though. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, there's actually a lot of guys that are Texas natives that play here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll just like Johnny Kiefer, Bo Hostler. So I feel like a lot of them know this track. Is Scotty not playing still?
I didn't see him in there.
Yeah, probably because he had the kid, right? If I had to guess.
That's right. Yeah.
Or, yeah, I'm almost positive that's probably why. I'm gonna go with someone that is not as well known, but will randomly, I feel like, play well, which is Daniel Berger.
Okay.
I feel like he has kind of resurrected. I think at one point he had been injured in the past, and then he kind of made a comeback.
Yeah, he's been playing decent this year.
So I feel like he's a strong candidate that will win at some point.
Okay.
This year. So
and why not now?
Just
right?
Throw him out there to see if he'll do it.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So we'll see. But yeah, no, it's been fun. I think we'll try to have a little more fun with the time we have left here in LA and try to kind of experience the city itself. But
yeah, it's been busier than I thought it would be, and we haven't really shot any types of content for the pod. So I'm glad we got some time to sit down and we have had some beverages. We're not right now. It's like before noon right now on Saturday. So, and we have some professional activities today. Otherwise, that might not be a reason not to.
Yeah.
But just trust, we'll have some bourbon in our hands at some point today. And if you guys have some bourbon in your hands while you're listening to this, cheers to you.
Yeah. Cheers, friends.